everyone, my name is Evie. For those of you who don't know me, I am 27 years old and I am an alcoholic. In this video, I'm just going to be talking about my personal experiences with alcoholism and what led me to recovery, and hopefully it helps somebody out there who's also struggling. So let's get into it. I started drinking around 20 years old. Before then, I dabbled in drinking. I was mainly a weed smoker, but I did dabble in alcohol a little bit before turning 20. But it wasn't anything extreme. It really kicked off when I met a guy on Facebook, and he was 21, and we met up in person. He was a couple states away. He was 21, and he liked drinking, so he would buy us alcohol, and it would just be a complete shit show. I would get very violent being drunk, and I did a lot of things that I do regret and that I have to live with. So that was when I was 20. Our relationship was very short-lived, so after, because I was in his state at the time when all this was going on, it lasted for about like a month, and then when I got back to my state, I didn't have that alcohol anymore. I didn't know anyone that could buy alcohol for me, so I just went back to smoking weed, and I dabbled a little bit in psychedelics, but nothing really got to me the way alcohol did. Alcohol was my best friend. When I turned 21, I was pregnant with my now 6-year-old daughter, and I went through really bad postpartum depression with her mainly because of where her dad and I were at. I wanted to be in a relationship with him. He didn't want to be in a relationship with me, and at the time, it really crushed me. So I started drinking a lot, and I was able to put it down for a little bit when it got too much and I got the cops called on me. I was able to put it down for a little bit, and then I picked it back up maybe like a month or so later, and I was drinking like a quote-unquote normal person. And then I met my husband. Now my husband is a year older than me. He loves drinking. So I was 22. No, I was 22. No, I was 21. Sorry. I was 21 when we met. And so he was 22. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But we drank a few times together. Well, we drank a lot together. But we weren't together all that long until I became pregnant with my second daughter. So yes, both of my babies have different fathers, and it's okay. But anyway, so I didn't drink at all during either one of my pregnancies. I did smoke weed, but I didn't drink. And I had a DCFS case open with my oldest daughter from when I was drinking. So when I gave birth to my youngest daughter, Horizon, I got a phone call to my hospital room saying that you need to find somebody to take your daughter because she can't go home with you. And let me tell you, that absolutely crushed me. I was completely devastated. I don't remember. We found my aunt to take care of her, and that's another story on its own. But we got my aunt to take care of her, but I was just crushed. It was really hard going back to a home where we had all this baby stuff and no baby. I mean, it was heartbreaking. So I drank a lot. I coped the only way I knew how to cope, which was by drinking. So I attempted suicide on May 17th, 18th of 2021. because I just got to the point where I didn't want to be alive anymore. I was so depressed. The postpartum depression was killer this time. And so I attempted suicide. I woke up the next morning and I had a seizure, called the ambulance on myself, stayed in a hospital, mental hospital for about a week or so. Got out and I was instantly feeling a lot better. They gave me an Abilify shot. If you don't know what that is, it is an antipsychotic. And it really helped me a lot. So I was kind of stable for a few months after getting out of the hospital in 2021. But of course, I went right back to drinking. And it caused a lot of problems in my husband and I's relationship. I wouldn't get violent as much, but there was still times that things did end up physical because of my drinking. And it was just a merry-go-round pretty much. Like, I would drink, we would fight, but I would drink because we fought. And then you can see where I'm going with this. It was just a lot. And it was just a constant cycle, an endless, hellish cycle. So fast forward a couple years, well, about a year. It's 2022 and I'm living in Chicago with my grandmother, my dad's mom, and I felt like she didn't want me to drink because my family knew that I loved drinking a little bit too much. So my grandma told me she didn't want any alcohol in the house, which I wasn't going to listen. Are you kidding me? I need alcohol. So I drank a lot at her house and it just progressed from there. It started off with Monaco's, and then pretty soon the Monaco's weren't enough. So I was drinking hard liquor every day. And I would, a fifth of vodka would last me maybe a few days, then I have to go get more. But I never looked at it as a problem. This is back in 2022, 2023. I never really looked at it as a problem because nobody was really, I had people telling me, I had my family telling me that I cut back on the drinking, stop drinking, but I wasn't going to listen, What trouble has alcohol gotten me into at this point? So 2023, I was drinking a lot. I got kicked out of my grandmother's house in late 2023, and then I moved in with my husband and his in-laws, and my in-laws and me don't get along. So when my husband got arrested in December of 2023, and I was at the apartment with them by myself, yeah, it was really stressful. And I was really depressed. So I turned to alcohol, of course. And I was drinking a lot. I had a job at Family Dollar as an assistant manager, and there was a liquor store on the corner. I would go there every day before work, sometimes even during work when I needed a fix. And I would drink constantly throughout my shift, which led to my boss, I didn't do my job, so my boss would get mad at me, and I was just like, oh, whatever, I'll just do it better next time. Yeah, every day was pretty much the same. I would just drink, fuck around in the back, break area, and that was pretty much it. So at that point, so by late 2023, I was drinking about a fifth a day, and then in 2024, I started drinking handles, gallons of vodka. And at that point, I was drinking maybe by mid 2024, I was drinking a handle a day. And my cheeks were all swollen. My chest had this weird rash on it. My skin was all dry and peeling. I look like I've been through it. And I moved in with my mom and my 6-year-old daughter and my stepdad and my grandma, my mom's mom, in 2024, mid 2024. And my mom was just like, you look like absolute crap from all the drinking. And I was like, and I had looked that way for so long that I didn't even recognize anything was wrong with my appearance. But apparently she did. So, off to rehab I went in the end of summer of 2024. I didn't really, I mean, I knew that I needed to go because my alcoholism, like, I was starting to get withdrawals and stuff. So I knew that I needed to go to rehab. But when I got out of rehab, I thought that I could handle it again. I was sober for maybe like 50 some days, and then I went right back to it. So this is like October, November at this point in 2024. Started drinking the handles again, and I couldn't go to work. I worked at Jewel. I had a new job. I had worked at Jewel at the time. I couldn't go to work because I was throwing up constantly, having severe hangovers. So I went back to rehab in December of 2024 and spent Christmas and New Year's in rehab, which I was actually grateful for because I knew that I was in a safe place and I wouldn't be drinking. I can't remember, at that point, I couldn't remember the last time I spent a holiday, like, not drunk. So it was nice being in a safe place, surrounded by people that actually cared about me. Then I got out, and then I thought I could drink again. Apparently I didn't learn anything from the last 2 times in rehab, so started drinking again. And what was going through my mind at this point was just like, well, I could handle it. It's not a big deal. I can handle it. Well, no, I can't. It really hadn't sunk in that I was an alcoholic yet. So I started drinking again, and my mom found out. And this is like February at this point. So she's like, well, you need to leave my house if you're going to go to rehab and it's not going to do any good and you're just going to keep drinking. So I went back to rehab, and then when I got out, I was in a sober living home. And I liked it, but I didn't stay sober. I know, shocker, right? I didn't stay sober at the sober living house. I relapsed when I was in sober living. So I was lying a lot, which didn't make me feel good. But when you're an alcoholic, you kind of don't care about those things. You're going to continue doing what you want to do, despite what anyone says. So yeah, I got kicked out of the sober living house actually for having THC in my system. And this was late June of 2025. And it made me depressed, because, I got kicked out, so I stayed in a hotel for a few days and drank. And then I got into a domestic violence shelter in July of 2025, and it progressed in there. I stayed there for about like a month and a half, and it progressed while I was in there. My drinking, one of the rules was you can't have any drugs or alcohol with you. You can do whatever you want out on the outside, but when you're in here, you don't bring that stuff in here. So I got away with, I would just go to the liquor store all the time before work. I was working at Casey's then, and I would just go to the liquor store before work or after work and just drink. And I would drink we had bunk beds, and my bunk was the bottom bunk, so I would just put up like a sheet on the top bunk underneath the top bunk's mattress and have like a little like hideaway so I could drink. And then I got kicked out for having a THC pen out of the domestic violence shelter. So then I went to stay with a coworker. Well, I started drinking a lot when I was with that coworker. Oh my God, I drank so much when I was with him in his house. So he was a coworker from Casey's, and we had developed a friendship. And so he was there for me when I got kicked out of the domestic violence shelter. He wasn't happy with the choices that I made, but he was there for me, And I'm forever grateful that he opened up his door to me when I got kicked out. So I only continue to work at Casey's for maybe like a week or so after that, because the drinking got so heavy, and I could not function without alcohol, like, and barely with alcohol. So called off of work, and then I said I need to go on medical leave, because I knew that I needed to go to rehab, but I was scared too. So I mean, this is like at the end of August at this point. I didn't go to rehab until October, like almost the middle of October in 2025. So in that time period between August and October was hell. I mean, I wasn't working, didn't go anywhere, didn't see anyone. The only person I really talked to was my mom, my coworker, and my husband, because I'm barely my mom, because I felt like ashamed of myself. I felt embarrassed. I felt like shit. I knew I fucked up again. And this is like the times I always think of. I mean, at time, like at my worst, I was throwing up at least like 20 times a day. Shaking constantly. I went to the hospital multiple times because my withdrawals were so bad. Even when I was drinking, I just continued feeling like shit. Like every day I was getting a handle of vodka delivered to his house while he was at work. And he knew that I was drinking, and he tried to stop me, but, you know, when he's at work, you know, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to hide it. And that's what I did. So for the few times where he found my bottles and he hid them from me. But he didn't know, like, he didn't know, like, I think he knew how bad it got, but I don't think he knew, like, how truly bad it really was, because I wanted to die. I felt like I was dying, throwing up constantly. I went a week without showering. My hair was all matted in the back. I had to cut it out with a pair of scissors. I mean, it was just awful. You know, I smelled bad. Just laid in bed, drinking, wanting to die, pretty much not eating. So it was rough. Finally, I made the decision. Sorry, there's like a glare. The sun is like so bright. It's getting ready to set, that's why. Let's see. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Maybe? Okay, anyway. So that time between August and October of 2025 is something that I think about a lot, because I just remember how shitty I felt. I was throwing up constantly, couldn't hold anything down, wasn't showering, wanted to die. I mean, felt like I was dying. I mean, the list really goes on. And I felt so depressed, like there was no way out of here. So I made the call to the rehab, and I'm like, I need to go. So they got me a bed, told me to be there October 13th. I was there October 13th. And I actually tried this time. Before in rehab, I didn't really try, because I didn't think I was an alcoholic. I mean, I wasn't like kicking back, playing games and all that, you know, but I didn't really see how big of a problem I really had until 2025, late 2025, August through October. Sorry, this glare. Just gotta stay in one spot. So that's something I think about a lot. And that's what gives me, whenever I feel like I want to pick up now, I just think back of what I went through, like just a few months ago. I am now 5 months sober. So yay me, you know, and that number's only going to go up from here. You know, soon I'll have 6 months, and then I'll have a year. And I love sobriety. Sobriety has given me a peace of mind. It's given me my life back. essentially I can go to work now. I don't wake up in the morning feeling like shit, feeling like I'm gonna die, puking my guts out. I don't do that anymore. And I am so thankful for everyone that's been on my side, my family, my friends, and of course the staff at the rehab center that I went to. I am so thankful that I've had this support with me, because I don't think I could do it without like the support, you know. So anyway, that is pretty much all that I have. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, this is my first video, so please go easy on me. But that is all that I have for now. Bye.